Hey, I'm Josh and welcome back to Elite Brands, where we show you how to scale your e-commerce brand to 8 figures and beyond. Today, we're going to be diving into the single most important Klaviyo segment you should be sending to in 2025. Most brands are killing their deliverability by blasting emails to everyone. This one segment filters for true engagers, protecting your inbox placement and ultimately your profits. By focusing on your engaged audience, you'll get higher open rates, stronger revenue per send, and avoid the slow deliverability death spiral that we see all the time. The ultimate goal of this is we want you to re-engage your unengaged users because your deliverability is so good. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build this segment inside of Klaviyo and how to use it to drive more profit from every campaign you send. So let's get into that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so you can see that. We're going to go straight into one of our testing accounts. So this here is the backend of Klaviyo. If you're unfamiliar with it because you're using a different platform, the things that you're going to find in here are going to be slightly different, the way that this is laid out. Also, the events that we're matching and optimizing for within this segment are going to be different to what you can get in your other platform. We would strongly recommend you look at Klaviyo if you are interested in a email provider service for your e-com store, even for outside of e-com if you're B2B, etc. So, what is this one segment? There's many different ideas on how you should be segmenting your campaigns for ultimate success and for the ultimate performance. And we have tested and developed this strategy for many, many years now. This is our one and done segment that we like to use across all accounts with one variability, which we'll go into in a second. So you can call it whatever you want. Our naming convention is we've obviously got our EB for Elite Brands, engaged because that's what these users are. They are engaged. And then we've got our segment, our time segment. So in this example, we're looking at 120 days. That 120-day look back period is going to be the variable, which I'll explain towards the end. What we want to do here is we want to analyze every single touch point that makes a user engaged. We want to capture that within this list or this segment. And then at the end, we want to confirm that we can actually send email marketing to these people or SMS marketing, depending on which one you select here. First off, we want to make sure that we're tracking all on-site events. So that means that if a user comes onto your site and has a Klaviyo cookie or the Klaviyo tracking on their session, they're going to trigger that active on site. We're going to see that as an engaged session. If they add to cart or view a product, we're then going to capture them as well. And we want to look back at least that 120 days. The next batch of events that you want to look at are going to be your Shopify or BigCommerce or WooCommerce events, whatever platform you're using to host your e-com site. They will have events that get plugged back into Klaviyo and you want to put them in here. Those events are the placed order. We want to see at least once. We want to track people that have placed an order at least once within the last 120 days. Same for a submission of a search. So that's when people search online on your storefront. If they add to cart or view a collection, we can track that as well. And then we also want to look at your checkout started. If people are checking out or starting the checkout but just not completing that purchase, we want to make sure we're capturing that. Finally, we've got our Klaviyo engagement. So that's going to be your clicked emails, clicked SMS, open email, or subscribe to a list at least once in the last 120 days. These are the only ones you want to track. If you add in any of the negative engagements, such as unsubscribe, bounce, complain that it's spam, Klaviyo is going to stop you from sending to those people automatically because Klaviyo has registered that they are suppressed. They shouldn't be sent to. However, with things like soft bounces, which you don't need to know about now, but essentially all forms of bounces are bad and not all forms of bounces are going to be blocked automatically by Klaviyo out of the gate. These four are the ones that you want to track as engagement. One of the biggest mistakes we see that people add in as a form of engagement is that they have received an email or received an SMS. And unfortunately, what that means is that when you put that into this flow or into this segment rather, the users that come into here will never leave because they will always be receiving emails, which means they will always be engaged, which is not what we want. Like I said, finally, we're just checking here if someone can or cannot receive email marketing. We want to make sure that they can receive email marketing. If you're trying to build this out for SMS, select SMS as well. The only variable in this that we like to check for and change is going to be your 120 days. We send to varying segments ranging from 7, 14, 30, 60, 90, 120, 180, and 365. And what determines this is going to be your health, right? Is that positive? That means that you can send to more people, right? If so, what that essentially means is your deliverability health good? Are you getting high open rates? Are you getting high click rates? Are the people that you're sending emails to engaging at a higher rate? If so, you can reach back further into the past and get more unengaged people. The other thing we want to check for is your frequency, okay? So if you are sending, let's say, one email every month, then you probably shouldn't be doing that. You want to send to a very engaged segment quite regularly, at least 3 times a week. That could be anything from a 7 to a 30 to start out with. If you're fresh and just starting out, we would recommend 7 to 30 at least 3 times a week. And then if your deliverability score is good, we would recommend going down to this path here and sending at least 1 times a week to those segments there. What we're trying to do here is essentially trick, and it's not really tricking, it is a legitimate strategy. We're trying to get Gmail, Yahoo, other inbox providers to go, hey, this person, so let's say that that's your brand, right? This brand is a legitimate sender because when they send emails through these 3 times a week, all of the people are opening, all the people are clicking, and all the people are going on to take further actions. Now, when I say all, I mean the vast majority, right? We're looking at 50 to 60% open rates in these segments, 1% plus click rates, and a very good recipient, revenue to recipient ratio. What that means is that Gmail is going to start placing your emails that your brand sends into people's inboxes and provide them as a higher priority. 1 email a week then to your unengaged people is then going to take advantage of the good reputation you have because of these ones, and it's going to go, oh, this brand or your brand is now sending an email that is good, high quality, relevant, and is something that the person wants to read. That means that I'm going to land it in these people's inboxes. That's amazing, because what ends up happening is as soon as people that get this email and then open or click, they then get put back into, hey, I've just engaged in the last 7 to 30 days. And that is how you start recycling old unengaged users into your engaged segments. And that's how you can ultimately grow your engaged lists. A couple other tips: when it's big sale periods, or times where that people are more willing to accept emails, we would generally recommend increasing your sends as time goes on. So let's say during Black Friday, we would be exclusively sending to 60 plus, even for these multiple day, like the 3 times a week emails. The other thing is, as your deliverability score improves, then we would recommend shifting this lower budget or this lower section up another date selection. So let's say we were doing 7 to 30 days previously. Now we want to do 14 to 60. If that is good and your open rates are steady and your click rates are good, then we want to go to 30 to 90. The other aspect to all of this is that your email content is by far one of the most important things that will impact your deliverability score. If your emails are not engaging, if they are not clickable, if there's nothing to convert off the back of when you're getting those emails, you are not going to have a good performance in your Klaviyo account. Content and the email strategy is just as important as the segment. However, when we're going in and auditing new accounts, it's almost a 100% hit rate that the segmentation is just wrong. The brand is sending to all of their emails. So when we look at this here, as an example, this is our testing account, one of our testing accounts. You can see that we've got around 28,000 people in the total list. Out of that 28,000, only 5,800 of them have been a engager in the last 120 days. When we combine the both of them, out of that 5,800, only 4,352 are actually eligible to receive email marketing. So what that means is that someone might have placed an order in the last 120 days and then unsubscribed, or their email bounced, etc. If you send to these 28,000, Gmail, Yahoo, etc. are not going to see good deliverability signals, because the vast majority of these people haven't even engaged with you in the last 4 months. So by creating this segment, sending to these via the campaigns, you're going to get on the good side of Gmail and Yahoo, and you're going to see a significant increase in your deliverability and your revenue, ultimately driving more profit. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Please let me know if you've got any other questions. I'll drop a link in the description if you wanted to book a call with us to walk through this in greater detail, or what a migration to Klaviyo would look like if you're on an existing platform that doesn't have this functionality and you want to make sure you've got this functionality in time for, let's say, Black Friday. Please book a call with us. Otherwise, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and we will talk to you again soon.